So Snoop just released a new album, Is It a Crime? Released May 15th, 2025. And let me tell y'all, this is way better than the last album he dropped, Missionary. Missionary was supposed to be like the second coming of Doggy Style. And to me, I thought it was like Snoop's exit album, because you know, Doggy Style, Missionary, you get it. But anyways, I don't know what happened with that album. And I thought that shit was gonna be a banger, especially with Dre on board with the album, because Dre ain't been on board with his Snoop album since The Last Meal, and The Last Meal came out in what, 2000? So let's just say, Is It a Crime? It was like, okay, this the Snoop we need to be hearing. This the Snoop we wanted on Missionary. But one thing that caught my attention was the song Shut Your Bitch Ass Up. Shut your bitch ass up. Okay, so he dissed Suge Knight. And if you watch the video, it even had like AI clips of Suge in prison with the orange jumpsuit on and on the phone and all that shit. My personal opinion on it, I thought it was a dope song. I thought the production was dope. Rick Rock always does a dope ass job with the beats. And if you've been keeping up with Suge Knight's interviews, uh, you know that he had a lot to say. And usually Suge don't really be saying nothing. So when Suge came out and was talking about all the stuff that people wanted him, wanted him to talk about or had questions about, he was addressing them. And it had everybody in a frenzy. So obviously it ruffled some feathers. But he had a lot to say about Snoop and his time with Death Row and how things were behind closed doors, as far as like with Snoop and Tupac, and like how they weren't really connected, how people on the outside thought they were, and how basically Snoop was quote unquote scared of Pac. He was basically saying how Pac was running over Snoop, and how Snoop was running from a fade with Pac and all this other mess. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Snoop caught wind of that and heard what Suge was saying in these interviews, and came back with the song Shut Your Bitch Ass Up. But if y'all remember, in the early 2000s, I believe the album was Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. Snoop dissed Suge on the song Pimp Slap, which I thought was a hard ass diss, and that motherfucker was brutal. Yeah, it was like the second coming of that diss. You know what I'm saying? So if you know, you know. But if you ain't heard it, go check that out. Moving on. I want to say the production of this album was way better than the Missionary album. The beat selection was fire. All the producers that was on board, like I said, Rick Rock was on board, and the shit was a banger. It's really a good album. But all in all, I would rate this album on the Snoop scale. On the Snoop scale, I'm gonna rate this album